And so when you all were pursuing finding your building, is it a traditional real estate agent, or does it have to be the type of agent that specializes in multifamilies? Like, how did you all go about finding your building?
I would tell you, I use a real estate agent, but I also got on my bike and I would be going around, riding around different neighborhoods, scoping out different things. Because a lot of times, by the time your broker gets it, a lot of people have already seen that property or it's already like it's a lot of competition. So if you have the ability to go and really scope out neighborhoods, look where you want to live, if it hits your requirements, and you can get on that first, that's best. So you shouldn't just sit back and wait for a real estate agent. You got to put your footwork into if you really want a good deal.
And also realize you're not going to get the first property
Oh
you
yeah.
want. So you got to be patient. And then the longer the process, the actually more clear you get on what you want and what you're looking for. But we did do traditional real estate.
Yeah. And I would suggest anyone who's looking for a house, whether it be a single family house or multifamily, I think the earlier you start your house looking journey, the better, because you'll get an idea of what you want and what you don't want. Because you might go in the first part of the process thinking this is what I want, and after seeing what's really out in the market, you're going to change what you really want in a place and what you're willing to accept and what you're willing not to accept. So the earlier you get out there, the better for you.
Or were either of these situations where you had to do a bunch of rehab to get in?
I did a lot of rehab. I probably did about 700,000 rehab. That also knocks a lot of people out because people ain't gonna want to do that work.
$600,000 or $700,000 worth of rehab. Okay. Um, okay. What made you want to pursue something that needed $600,000 to $700,000 of rehab? And like, how did you go about that?
because because I knew the area was going to blow up.
Okay, pause.
I
Wait, wait,
knew
wait, wait, wait,
it,
wait.
it
How? How did you know that? What were the signs, Nadia?
I know where I live. I know my market, right? So you have to be if you are very in touch where you live and you see certain signs. Like I know New York City, if you live near the train station, any kind of mass transit, you're golden. If there's a park in the neighborhood, you're golden. If there's some restaurants and you see like the neighborhood is like it has a certain vibe and you can bike to different things, it's desirable. Even if people don't see it at that point, you have to be able to see that diamond in the rough. And you have to be able to be like, I'm going to go after it. And no, there's a lot of work, but that work will pay off, you know? So when I looked at it, I said, if I wanted it fully renovated, this is going to cost me $1 million more than what I was going to pay for it. But if I buy it now, I have the ability to dictate how this is going to be done. I can tell you if the renovations were done properly because even if you buy something renovated, you don't know if it was a flip that was done properly and you're going to have to put in work after you paid all that money for it. So I'd rather buy something that hasn't been renovated. So I know what went into it, what materials went into it, how it was done, and if everything was done properly. So I'm willing to do that work up front and it gives me less competition when I'm
So
going for
was
that
it
property.
savings, hard money? Like, what? How did you go about it? Because if somebody got a
I
quote from a GC that said, "Yeah, it's gonna be about
well, you don't get
six
that
hundred
quote. You don't
thousand,"
get that
like
quote
some
from the
people would
GC.
run.
Nah, you don't get that quote
Okay,
from that GC. Okay. What you get from the GC is probably going to be a
okay.
third of that. And then you're like, oh, that's good. But then, yeah, that renovation caused me to work a little longer than I wanted. But I did have a lot of savings. I was like, I'm going to be intentional. I want to buy something that I can call my own. So I put away 75% of my paycheck to pay for this. And I'm willing to put money away for it. It pays off. A lot of people. When I graduated from school, I told my friend I'm going to buy this BMW. A couple of years later, he's like, "No, why don't you buy that BMW?" I'm like, first, because I had to buy this house. Second, did you see how much it costs to change the brakes on that? I'm not doing that. I'd rather buy this property. It changes your mindset, and it works out longer for me. That car would have been probably back at the dealership by now, but my house continues to grow in
Damn,
value.
that's what's up. Nicole, you had to pull out the hammer and screwdriver.
I did,
No,
but
she
I
saw what I
also went
was
for something that was a little bit more, walk-in ready or
moving
live-in.
ready.
I saw what Nadia was dealing with, and I said, no, no, no. One thing, I did not go to Brooklyn because it might be a lot of diamonds in the rough out there, but you gotta Nadia is actually pretty good not showing her gray hair, so she did a good job with that. But I took that experience and I said, let me take off something smaller and see what we can do. And you don't have to do all the renovations at once. That's not what we do. And I actually like to pay for my renovations in cash. So we save up, we pay it off. And so we do things one at a time and we pick and choose what's going to be the thing that we want to do that month. So, I see my other neighbors, they were like, oh, total renovation. I was like, whew, yeah, I would love that. But no, sorry, this is what's going to get done this year. This is going to get done next year, hopefully. We had a plan like that.
Makes sense. All right.
I will say most of that renovation I did was in cash because I don't want to have to owe so much on it. But part of it was not, but most of it was in cash.
All right. So, have you all gone further, even beyond those first buildings, or you all start collecting other types of assets along the way?
When it comes to real estate, for us, I know a lot of people love to talk about their portfolio real estate. Yeah, Nadia and I have 5 kids between us, and having just the tenants we have is enough for us to say, I don't think I want to do much more. So we don't try to do all the things. We try to do the right things in the right order and try to maximize that. You see? So we said 1 building is enough. That's all you need right now. Maybe later on, we'll get something. 1 house is enough. But when it comes to investing, that's easier. You don't have so many, unknowns that you can't control. You have unknowns, but there's less risk, certain types of risk. So it's easier to buy investments in terms of stock market and get those dividends.
It fits the lifestyle we have now.
All right. So let's go there because that was the next thing that you all mentioned. You mentioned the term dividend investing. So some people, again, a term they may not have heard before. What's that, and how does somebody get started with that?
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to stock market investing, no matter what you buy, there's only 2 ways to make money. Either the price of what you paid for that asset goes up and you make money by selling it, or you hold on to it and you get dividends, which is income or payments that the company gives you just for holding it. Now, a lot of people love to hear the Cinderella stories. I bought Amazon. I bought, Google. I bought Tesla. These companies, unless you sell them, are not giving you money. Okay, so you have to get in at a certain point, then sell it to make the money. Now, if I tell you Target, Costco, hopefully these things, they're staple names, they go up in value. They might not go up as fast as Tesla, but what they do have is dividends. They will pay you just for holding it. So, like I said before, dividends are the only way to make passive income in the stock market. They're on stocks and ETFs and index funds that are more stable or in a different life cycle than a growth stock or growth company, and it can provide you with income without being as risky as some other things. And it can also still go up in terms of price.
So, how do you all approach researching the companies that offer the dividends versus ones that don't? And then, are you all targeting these companies with individual buys or inside of index or ETFs? What's your all's approach from research to execution?
So, again, we don't have all the time in the world to sit down and research every stock. So, the way we find to work for us and for our goals, which is long-term stability, we look at index funds and ETFs. So then from there, we look at maybe if it's an international or if it's, a US. We base that. Okay. We look at small cap, mid cap, large cap, and we make it as simple as possible and say, how can we diversify and do asset allocation in a way? And if I'm using terms, let me break it down for you. Let's do an example. Asset allocation, diversification. Let's do that first. You have a closet full of clothes. You have some hats, some t-shirts, some pants, some sneakers. Your wardrobe is diversified. Now, how many hats you have versus how many shirts you have versus how many pants, that's your asset allocation. These two things are more important than actual stocks that you buy. So we're focusing more on those things, but we're doing it through index funds and ETFs.
Now, Nicole might make it sound simple, but she has a master's in financial instruments for NYU. And
Yeah, I forgot to mention that I have my MBA from NYU United. So, but I'm also able to take these complex terms because, grew up one side of the street, went to work on another side of the street. We have children. My job is to learn what I can and then break it down into simple terms so that anybody can understand it.